Eating out these days can be a luxury, so it makes sense that you'll want to get the best experience possible. Here, you'll find a list of upscale chain restaurants that are always dependable, along with a few franchises that are barely worth the price of admission. There's a reason fondue hasn't been relevant since the Carter administration. For some reason, our parents and grandparents once thought it was romantic to impale random chunks of food on a stick and submerge them in a bubbling cauldron of cheese. Wild, right? Anyway, it's the 21st century, and somehow the melting pot is surprisingly still going strong. The Florida-based fondue chain, which bubbled up in 1975, now has nearly 100 franchises across the United States, as well as one location in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. To be fair, a pot of chocolate fondue isn't a bad dessert option, though sadly, at the melting pot, that liquid goodness isn't dripping from a fountain. But cheese? Come on! Bottom line, if your Tinder date happens to suggest the melting pot for your first meetup, you definitely swiped in the wrong direction. The views are unbeatable at this pricey Landry's chain, but unfortunately the same can't be said about the food. Launched 60 years ago by surfers Joey Cabell and Buzzy Bent, the Chart House has established a bi-coastal presence, offering stunning beachside dining in California locales like Redondo Beach and Cardiff by the Sea, and over to the east, a Manhattan skyline vista from its Weehawken, New Jersey location. It's a shame that puny portions and sky-high prices seem to be the restaurant's MO. And when you're selling a high-end pedigree but only earning a paltry 3 stars from Yelp, you're probably doing something wrong. If the views prove to be too enticing to pass up, saddle up at the bar during happy hour, enjoy some discounted cocktails and starters like calamari or firecracker shrimp, and be thankful you didn't shell out big bucks for a disappointing meal. Celebrating its 30th anniversary, Maggiano's Little Italy continues to crank out crowd-pleasing takes on Italian-American red sauce favorites. What the chain lacks in unlimited breadsticks, it more than makes up for with plenty of appealing comfort food served in massive portions. Though first-timers may consider the prices high, keep in mind the overflowing plates of chicken piccata and shrimp scampi can easily feed too, especially if you load up on apps like mozzarella marinara and garlic bread. Pasta is essential, and Mom's Lasagna offers a taste of home, while the rigatoni D is a Maggiano signature, loaded with herb-roasted chicken, mushrooms, and caramelized onions, then topped with a marsala cream sauce.
Yes, it's one of my favorites. It's a classic.
Oh my gosh.
The sauce is awesome. Nice caramelized onion Alfredo sauce. Really great to dip your bread in, because who doesn't love carbs?
The menu isn't all carbs. Salads include the familiar chopped, Italian, and Caesar, along with a grilled salmon salad and the Maggiano salad. In major cities, there are certainly more upscale options to enjoy an Italian feast. But for the rest of America, you won't do much better than Maggiano's when you're hungry for pasta and parm. And that's just fine. This teppanyaki specialist is the de facto birthday dinner spot for kids and adults alike. And it's not just because the person of the hour is gifted with a $30 gift certificate. Started in 1964 by former wrestler and Mr. Softy truck driver Rocky Aoki, Benihana is the type of place you have to try at least once in your life, so you can bear witness to the onion volcano, shrimp tail flip to the pocket, knife juggling, and all the theatrical slicing and dicing performed right at your table.
Watch. What did I tell you?
You're right, that's good.
Oh, and the food's pretty good, too. Don't even think about ordering sushi. If you truly want to experience Benihana, it's hibachi or bust. There are multiple land and sea options, but we advise ordering the steak with house-made teriyaki sauce. The mains come packaged in either a 5 or 6 course meal that includes soup, salad, and the famed made-to-order fried rice. If you're a discerning gourmand, Benihana will likely fall short. But if dinner and a show sounds like fun, you'll have a blast. If you happen to reside near one of the 217 domestic P.F. Chang's locations, it's very likely the global sensation is going to be the classiest Chinese spot in town. But despite the chain's claim, don't come expecting an authentic experience. This is predominantly fusion food, with plenty of Chinese-American favorites and Pan-Asian influences thrown into the mix. It's best to stick with the dishes you can't find everywhere, Because if it's served at your local Chinese restaurant, it's almost certainly cheaper there. Slow-braised northern-style pork ribs rubbed with 5-spice seasoning is among our favorite starters, while oolong Chilean sea bass is a winner on the entree portion of the menu. P.F. Chang's helped popularize the chicken lettuce wraps, and the chain's version, prepared from, quote, a secret family recipe, always hits the mark. For those with dietary restrictions, P.F. Chang serves vegan dishes and offers a gluten-free menu which debuted all the way back in 2003, long before many people had any idea what gluten-free even meant. Looking to unwind? Choose one of the creative cocktails, like the Asian Pear Mojito and Rising Dragon. A-plus listers from the Beatles to Andy Warhol have dined at Mr. Chow, the ultra-luxe chain that opened in London over 50 years ago, and now includes outlets in major U.S. cities such as New York, Miami, Las Vegas, and Beverly Hills. From the minute you set foot inside the restaurant, you know you're in for a unique experience. According to New York Magazine, the fleet of handsome Italian-accented waiters and the dramatic sunken dining room do nothing to suggest Chinese food is on the menu. But this is indeed a Chinese restaurant, with dishes that are both traditional and prepared with an East meets West fusion. The food can be hit or miss, sometimes disastrously so, which is all the more shocking considering the hefty price tag. But the food isn't the point of the Mr. Chow experience, which is why fans keep coming back, as the New York Times notes. The allure of Mr. Chow does not seem to dim, no matter how many times customers are told that they're crazy to pay that much for stir-fry. Our absolute favorite national seafood chain, Bonefish Grill, earns high marks for stellar seafood and incredible value. Over the last 2 decades, the Florida-based favorite has cultivated a massive following, and deservedly so. There is something for every aquatic taste, from their mahi-mahi Oscar dish to specialty options like crab-crusted cod and gnocchi thermidor, a fresh take on the lobster stalwart. It wouldn't be a trip to Bonefish Grill without an order of Bang Bang shrimp. The crispy, creamy crustaceans are available solo or tucked into tacos. If you're bringing the whole brood, be sure to order from the Family Bundles menu for extra-large portions of the chain's most popular items. The bartenders serve up superior cocktails, especially when it comes to the wide selection of martinis. If you want to turn heads towards your table, the dual-glassed smoked old-fashioned is a clever twist on a classic. As far as the ambiance, Bonefish Grill is a bit of a tweener. It bills itself as, quote, polished casual, which is why it falls in the middle of this list. But if you're not in the mood to get all gussied up and spend a bundle for a festive night out, a meal here won't be a bone of contention. Sugarfish may be polarizing, but its success is undeniable. The trendy bi-coastal sushi chain keeps things simple, with a limited selection of nigiri sushi and rolls prepared with sustainable and accurately labeled seafood. The main draw are the set, quote, trust me menus, from famed sushi chef Kazunori Nozawa, known for his, quote, my way or the highway attitude, as requesting substitutions and modifications is a major no-no. For some, Nozawa's shtick doesn't impress. In a scathing 0-star review for the New York Times, critic Pete Wells found plenty to criticize, including the limited menu options, over-vinegared rice, the lack of wasabi, and perhaps most notably, the quality of the fish. Writing, the menu and website make much of Mr. Nozawa's connections among elite fishmongers, but the selection at Sugarfish rarely rises above entry level. But over on the West Coast, there continues to be plenty of love for the chain. According to The Infatuation, what's usually a kiss of death to most restaurants, Sugarfish's eye-popping expansion has continued to work because of Chef Nozawa's unwavering integrity given to every piece of fish served. Fans like Seth Rogen are willing to drop $267 on a single Sugarfish Postmates delivery. We fall in the pro-Sugarfish camp and are hopeful that the chain makes its way beyond LA and New York City. If you want to get your budget taco or other classic Mexican dish, there are plenty of casual chains that will satisfy your cravings. But if you're in the mood for an upscale Mexican dining experience, your options are woefully lacking. Enter Javier's. The popular cantina made its debut in Laguna Beach over a quarter of a century ago, impressing locals with its romantic setting, impressive pan-Mexican menu, and stiff margaritas. The chain has slowly established more links over the years, and there are currently 6 locations. But we need a whole lot more. The OC Register describes Javier's Irvine location as a tropical, luxury, plant-filled open-air cabana, a far cry from the funky environs of Moe's Southwest Grill. As for the food, Las Vegas Weekly notes that a meal at Javier's is, quote, a feast you won't soon forget, with the highest praise reserved for the ceviches, the chili negro braised short rib, and the Cabo Azul, a seafood spectacular that brings together a Maine lobster enchilada, a poblano chili stuffed with shrimp and Dungeness crab, and an ensenada-style shrimp taco. Be sure to peruse the incredible selection of tequilas, which, to be clear, are not of the salt shot lime variety. Hillstone is like that guy and gal in every high school that everyone seems to love. The jocks, the nerds, even the goths. According to Bon Appetit, it's never going to win a James Beard Award or try to wow you with its foam experiments or ingredients you've never heard of. But it is the best run, most loved, relentlessly respected restaurant in America. The combination of a universally appealing menu and sparkling hospitality is the winning formula that keeps regulars like Danny Meyer, David Chang, Shaquille O'Neal, and plenty of other non-famous fans coming back again and again. It's a no-brainer for a semi-formal business lunch or a chill date night venue. You can keep things simple with a fresh ground chuck cheddar cheeseburger or pan-seared ahi tuna salad. Amp it up by choosing the pan-crisped Faroe Island salmon, which is hand-filleted daily, or an herbaceous rotisserie chicken with a sweet and sour apricot glaze. And if you really want to go big, a Dover sole and USDA prime center-cut filet are available too. While the menus may be consistent, no 2 locations are alike. According to Hillstone, our spaces match the unique and sophisticated settings that surround them. And if you're a fan of Houston's, take note. It's part of the Hillstone family, and several locations have been rebranded as Hillstone restaurants. Step aside, Arby's, because Fogo de Chão truly has the meats. This Brazilian import is the ultimate carnivore's dream. You can go a la carte, but the reason you're here is for all-you-can-eat traditional churrasco. As you enter the dining room, you'll immediately notice waiters carrying some imposing, sword-sized skewers, impaling multiple cuts of grilled beef, chicken, lamb, and pork. If you're a first-timer, it's best to try a bit of everything, but steak lovers will definitely want to leave room on their plate for the picanha. The prized Brazilian cut is taken from the prime part of the top sirloin and is loaded with beefy flavor. Fogo de Chão even offers a pork picanha, which is an absolute porcine powerhouse. While it may seem overwhelming, the process is easy breezy. Each table is given a card, which you flip to green when you're hungry and red when you're on a break. According to the Washington Post, the chain has the meat and service thing down pat. There's also a salad bar, and you'll reluctantly want to incorporate some greens into your meal to counterbalance all that gluttony. Long before poke mania swept across the nation, James Beard award-winning chef Roy Yamaguchi was sharing the flavors of Hawaii and Japan across the mainland. Along with the original Roy's, which opened in Honolulu in 1988, there are 5 additional locations in Hawaii and 16 across the contiguous United States. Once you scan the starters, you'll realize that Chef Yamaguchi loves to have fun with his creations, like the lobster pot stickers and the Maui Wowie salad. Move over to the signature sushi portion of the menu and you'll find an assortment of inventive rolls. Surf and Turf is also a top attraction for the mains, with Roy's classic combo, which highlights 2 of the chef's signatures, misoyaki butterfish and a sublimely tender braised short rib, which the South Florida Reporter deems simply, quote, incredible. If you want to go easy on the wallet, keep an eye out for the chain's rotating specials, which include a $34 Sunday lobster meal and the Mahala Monday 3-course prefix, which is an absolute bargain at $39. There's also a happy hour with a menu of discounted appetizers and tropical drinks. If you're looking for that quintessential steakhouse experience, the Palm will hit the mark, especially at the flagship in New York's Midtown, which is still going strong after 95 years. But whatever location you end up dining at, you know you'll be getting outstanding food and service in a formal but not too stuffy environment with those amusing caricature portraits, a longtime Palm tradition on the walls.
The location was close to some of the New York publications, and the cartoon artists would come in, and after a couple of cocktails, the owner talked them into putting some cartoons up on the wall.
It's that total package which earned the Palm the top spot on our list of favorite national steakhouse chains. The steak, of course, is the main thing. And here, you'll be served top-quality, prime corn-fed beef that's been aged at least 35 days. The center-cut filet mignon is as tender and juicy as it gets, but New York strip and ribeye fans will be satisfied too. If you're with a group or happen to be extra famished, the massive 48-ounce double porterhouse is the order. The seafood is stellar and oversized too. How does a 6-pound lobster sound? Order plenty of sides and dessert, especially the chocolate layer cake, or a bag of fresh donuts for the table. For booze, stick with a classic cocktail, or a bottle off the extensive wine list. You know a seafood restaurant takes itself seriously when it employs its very own crabbers. Not only is Truluck's hauling its own stash of Florida fresh stone crab, the Upscale chain also vows, "We serve seafood captured and prepared sustainably, humanely, and responsibly. We follow all Ocean Conservancy guidelines and never serve overfished species." That commitment to quality is reflected across the menu, be it crustacean, mollusk, or those of the guild persuasion. The prime steaks don't disappoint either, and there are even some plant-based options. But of course, seafood reigns supreme. When in season, the stone crab deserves top billing for the succulent, sweet meat nestled in those imposing claws. Looking at other highlights on the menu, we can't say enough about the lobster, and the sweet and spicy Dutch yellowtail looks delicious. Other hits include New England pan-seared scallops and, for dessert, a towering carrot cake that's prepared in-house daily. This type of extravagance doesn't come cheap. According to Crane's Chicago Business, it's expense account-worthy, special occasion dining. But Truluck's is worth every clam. And if a location isn't in your area, not to worry. The chain is in the process of expanding. While the Capital Grille may be a steakhouse at heart, its success goes beyond the beef. Certainly, the steaks are standouts, but the chain, which now has 62 locations covering 25 states, plus Washington, D.C. and Mexico City, is such a hit because it does plenty of other things right too. Over on the seafood side, there's a lot to love, starting with the appetizers, especially the crispy crab and lobster cake that doesn't skimp on that precious meat. For entrees, we're big fans of the sushi-grade grilled sesame tuna and the pan-seared sea bass with miso butter, which also takes its inspiration from Asia. If you want a healthier option as well, the mozzarella tomato salad looks absolutely delightful. End your meal on a high note with the Capital Grille cheesecake, which sports a sweet, crackling brulee topping. Beyond the food, the dining room rides the fine line of special occasion without being too fancy. And as for the service, St. Louis Magazine lauds it as meticulous. Back in 1994, Nobu opened the doors to its New York flagship, and it was an instant blockbuster. Chef Nobu Matsuhisa had already made a name for himself, literally, with his Beverly Hills sushi sensation, which bore his surname. Robert De Niro, who was among the star-studded clientele who frequented Matsuhisa, encouraged the chef to head east, and the rest is history. Nobu, which offers modern Japanese cuisine with a detour into Peru, is now a global sensation with 47 restaurant locations spread across 4 continents. While you can't deny the scene is a major draw to the restaurant, its longevity wouldn't be possible without an ever-reliable menu that sticks with the hits but also continues to evolve. According to the New York Times, some of the best dishes are the simplest. Pristine pieces of fish dressed in brilliant citrus juices, seasoned with a concentration of dehydrated miso, or a minuscule dab of chili paste, or a single tender leaf of cilantro. But of course, you'll also want to order the signature black cod with miso and creamy rock shrimp tempura, which Chef Matsuhisa put on the map. If you're looking for a place to be seen but also eat extremely well, Nobu is one of the few restaurants to check both boxes. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more mashed videos about your favorite fine dining are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.